Good morning, guys. This is Paula back to do a video on completing our rainbow page. Now, I told you I was going to do the sewing offline and bring it back to show you. So that's what I did. I sewed on this pocket, which I hemmed first, and you saw me do that. Then I added a strip of cardstock under the lace, which also made the lace look more blue, okay? So what I did is I laid the fabric down, I laid the strip down, and I decided to add these two, this was kind of last minute, add these two little tucks, kind of like will be when the books in the journal will be like tabs with buttons on them. And I just glued the buttons on, pulled some string through, tied a knot, and put them on. This is the other side. I laid everything down. I did this right here beforehand because I wanted this to be a tuck. And then everything else I laid into place, and I used little clips. Let me show you. Whoops, what is that? These little clips, okay, any size will work, to hold everything on, and as I got to it, I pulled the clip off. I did all zigzagging except on this blue paper underneath. I did a straight stitch. Okay, everything else is zigzagged, and then I just worked to fold it real neatly. I did ink around the outside only, just to kind of cover up some of the raw edges. And so this is page 1, which is blue. And so I also did the music sheet, and I cut it to the same size as this, which is 7 3/4 by 10. And that's going to be our size as it turns out. So I cut the music sheet down. You know, this was the sheet that we souped everything up, or sopped everything up. It was looking like soup, so we sopped it up. Okay, and so I cut this, you know, around different sides so it looks balanced, and it will go under here, but it did not seep through like I wanted it to. But I still want to have it in here. We may have it be the last page. And I ended up, you know, having several pages to soak up the remaining spray paint. And now both of these went through. So I took the darkest one and I took the lightest one for two different effects. And we're going to put the music sheet at the back of these two. I'm just hanging on to these in case I need them. I know I'll need at least one of these and at least the music sheet. So, now when you see them together, of course I haven't folded the music sheets. You're going to see this white music sheet because it's, you know, on the outside. But normally you would see the double side, which is like this. Let me show you. Okay. All right. So this is the blue page with pockets and tucks. Now, we got to fill those. I'm going to lay that to the side. We got to make some things to go in there. And the only thing, I just pulled out a bunch of blue stuff. I don't have any plans. That's kind of how I like to work. I feel like I'm more creative that way. I do want to ask you guys, if you think the videos are too long and that I should edit, let me know what you think. Because there's always someone out there that doesn't. And I don't want to offend anybody. I'm not going to say names or anything. But this is the second complaint that I've had since I started. I think it's pretty good out of a lot of people. Just that they didn't feel like I knew had it planned out and knew what I was doing. Well, I will tell you this. When I say I don't know what I'm doing, I have in the back of my mind. But I just put out a bunch of stuff that will work for what I'm wanting in the final product. Now, if you guys think I should edit my videos, that's great, but I might not have as many videos because it is very time consuming to do that. I don't know how to do it, and I'd have to have my husband do it because he's doing all the techie stuff. I don't mind doing that, but we probably would end up with a video every other day because it takes hours to do the videos. I love it. I love doing it, but I don't want to do away with one video so that we can edit. And I kind of look at it like this, that those that don't want to watch a full hour can fast forward to the parts they want to see. Now, I want the majority to be happy, and I just need you guys to let me know. I don't know if you don't give me feedback, but I do ask this, that when you give feedback, you're not rude. I'm doing this, and I get nothing out of it. I do it because I enjoy it, and I enjoy being friends with the different subbies. So I just ask that if you have a comment, please don't be rude. And I would not be rude to you. I've not been rude to that person. And so it's just, you know, there were comments made like the green folder. I couldn't get the part with the white clamp things. That I couldn't get them into the cutter. Well, it's because they were bigger. I knew this. I had already done it once. I do try to do things to prep my videos, and I hope you guys realize that everything is laid out here and everything's blue. So I do try my very best to make my videos fun. And so saying that, let's get started. I did prep these. I found this piece of vellum type paper. It's not see-through. And I have a couple of these old, well, they're not old. They're 2019 calendars, pocket calendars. So I thought what we could do with these is cover them, and they could go into a pocket. And we could cover it and decorate it. So I'm going to get my cutter. I'm sorry. I hope I can do this where you guys can see. And also, this person complained that I would check to see if I was in frame. Well, if they've never done this, I'll just tell you, it's real easy to get out of frame. And I just want to make sure when I do that, I'm trying to accommodate the people out there that watch. I want to make sure that they can see. It's kind of pointless to do the video and no one get to see. I would have a lot of really irritated people. So, it's hard to please everybody. I realize this. And, but I don't, you know, it's very hurtful for people to get on and criticize you and then talk to you like you're stupid and then go to the very end and say, I unsubscribe. Well, great. Doesn't hurt my feelings. If you're not happy, she needed to unsubscribe. Because I don't need to be talked to like that. I'm retired, and I do this to give you guys something to do and give myself something to do. And it's not like I'm in here making money. Okay, I'm sorry guys if I went off on everybody. I want you to know that I appreciate you guys, and you know, I have never unsubscribed anybody. I haven't ever done anything like that. I just want to be friends with you guys, and it's not about being perfect for me. Okay, so we need, the top of this book is 5 3/4. So just remember that when you do this, you can do it with just about anything. I'm going to leave just a little tiny bit of an edge in case I'm off a little bit. Let me make sure to get you up here. Okay, so we're going to pull this over and make sure we can cut it in the right place. All right, it's there. I'm going to move this paper off, or this calendar off for a minute. All right, now we need to cut the next piece. That was the height, okay, that we need. Now we need to cut this piece at the width, putting both sides together, which comes out to just barely under 7. And so I'm just going to cut it just barely under 7. That way we know. Now, I did lay this on this bright planner and looked to see, you know, if it was going to be, if you were going to be able to see this big flag through this. It's very tissue. It's not tissue. It's heavier than that. I just found it in my stash when I was looking for blue stuff. You'd be amazed when you start digging for a certain color what all you come up with. You know, they're all different blues. And that one little blotch of green in there, I'm not crazy about, but I wanted the other part. So I would suggest that you try to avoid. I'm just going to fold this over just like it was a cover, and then we're gonna glue it down. Now, when I say glue it down, I'm not sure if the glue's going to seep through this. So I'm thinking, look how cute, you guys. I think it looks cute on here. So we're just going to glue it and hope for the best. You know, I'm going to get a little sample and see what Fabri-Tac does on here. That way we know for sure if we like it or don't like it. Okay, we're just going to make a little fold here and test the glue. Now, let's see. You know, usually on paper you don't have a problem. And I know that Fabri-Tac does well. Look at that. No seepage whatsoever. So, we'll move on. And I'm going to leave the paper underneath, and we're going to glue the top. Get around the edge as well. And I want to ask you a question. Does it bother you when I clean up the glue on things? Especially things that I'm selling. You know, I am experienced with Fabri-Tac. I've used it for years. This is nothing new for me. I've hated it for years, but I love the results of it. But if you let it completely dry, like when the project's over, it will not come off. And then you've got these ugly glue, you know, ugly glued spots on your project, and that's not attractive. And my objective, my reason, I guess I should say, not my objective. My reason is that I want it to be as clean as it can be. I use as much glue as I use because I want it to hold for you for years. And I don't care that, you know, I'm having to pay a ton of money for the glue, which, did you guys know, I may have already told you this, has gone up to $14.99. I heard that on a couple other videos last night. that Hobby Lobby has brought it up from $11.99 to $14.99. Michaels has had it $14.99 the whole time, which means they probably will raise it up even more. Just some fun news there. A little bit of trivia. It's not really trivia. It's recent trivia. Okay, so you can see the book just a tiny bit, but I'm going to pull this flat like this so that I can make sure it glues on there correctly. And once this completely dries, we can go around and add some, I thought we could stamp on the front, maybe with some floral, but in a darker blue, you know, so we can stay with that. Everything I found, most of the stuff I found to do blue stuff, will have some white in it. I don't mind. You can't get away from that hardly. But also, some of them will have yellow or green or something in them. And, you know, since we have the little bit of green in this one, I don't think that's a big deal either. Okay, so this is the front of the book, and you can see it is off a tiny bit. And here's a perfect example why you get the glue. See, it's sticking to the first page. That's why you get the glue off. You know, I also don't want to rush through my videos. I like to explain things to, now you're going to have this little pucker at the back because of the fold out, but that's not a big deal. You can't see it until you fold the book open, and then you're not looking at it. So you don't have to worry about it. I am going to trim this tiny bit of stuff off of here because I don't like seeing the white. Let me make sure that's the first page. I think it is. I'm going to trim just a tiny, tiny little bit off of here. You won't even be able to notice that it's, you know, off a little. Or at least I hope not. Okay. All right, now we've got that looking a little better, but now we can see the page. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to trim this for sure, but I'm going to wait until it dries, and then we'll stamp. And if I decide later that bugs me, I'm not going to do it on camera because I don't want to drag it out for those that don't want to see it drug out. I will fix it. I like using this tissue. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, it feels good. And it was something that Creative Memories put out. That's how old this is. And so we're going to stamp flowers on here, and we might end up freehanding 2019. And so this can be in the person's journal. Because whenever this rainbow book is done, we are going to make a cover. But let me show you just an example. You could put it there. And we don't know where we're going to put anything. I'm just making a bunch of stuff, and then we'll just cram it full. And then you could put it there. Okay, so let's set this aside to dry and move on. So I also punched out a bunch of, punched out tags, and I ended up spraying a light coat of, well, a light coat of this one, which ended up not being really very dark at all. And then I splattered with the darker. So I did a circle tag, and I've got to get my blue ink over here. Now, I didn't ink these because we're going to ink in a different color. I don't know if this is going to be the blue we want, but I'm not going to do a big heavy. I'm just kind of doing around the edge. And we are using Salty Ocean right now. But I have another blue out too, so we might try it on the next one. And I don't mind that, you know, it's messy looking. Everybody has, you know, their own way of inking, and sometimes I ink very neatly, and sometimes I just want it to look kind of messy, because I really want the color to be noticed on this. Okay, so now this one's going to be very simple, just like we did it, and we will glue, I will glue I'm going to show you, and I'm going to do it after the video so we can save some time. I'm going to pull string through there, and look at that little flower. That's how it will end up looking with the string in it. So I will do that off camera. So I'm going to start a stack over here of off camera stuff. Now on this one, I have the same little tag. It's lighter. So I decided to take some of the scrap paper, and I'm going to ink around it so it gives it some dimension, and I'm going to ink around the tag. If you can see, I'm just really hitting the edge of the tag, but otherwise, if you look at one that doesn't have ink on it, for instance, let me show you. See how the difference is? This one was light like this to start with, but now we've got, you know, a darker tag. I'm going to do the back as well. I put a little bit more on the back because I want the blue to, like I said, I want the blue to pop out. Okay. Now, we're going to glue the paper down first. And when you put buttons on as toppers, I just thought since we put buttons on that first page, it'd be fun to put buttons on our toppers. We're just going to glue this across right here at the top. Now, I'm doing the easy stuff first so we can get that put aside. Now we're going to put some lace, some more of that same lace. We had some scraps left, so we're going to do that. Put it straight across the top. And then a little bit there. Okay. And what will happen is it just pops that color out underneath. Now this you definitely have to let dry. But I will tell you this, when you cover up a hole on your tags or anything, you don't want the glue or whatever to seep through. So you want to make sure you get your hole punch. Thought I had it laid out here, but I don't. Okay, let me find one just to punch the end. You can use whatever size you have. I actually have a smaller one that I would use, but it's not right out in front of me. So you just punch a hole. I'm going to go ahead and punch a couple more because we're going to use them on the others as well. And you will glue this on the back of where the button goes, where the punched hole is. I'm just going to punch out a few of them while we've got it here. All right, so we're going to flip this over. We're going to run some ink around it. And then we will just glue it down. I'm trying to avoid the very middle. I'm just going to go around the outside of the little circle. And then this just kind of gives it a design on the back too. But really it's keeping that button from seeping glue through the back. So again, we are going to take our button, put some string in it, and this is how it will look. I'm trying to do them a little bit different from each other, except I'm adding a button. And so I'm going to ink one more for that circle one I laid over there. It just makes it neater, you know, when you're working on it. It will be neater. Now we've got this big gold hole reinforcer, and this is another one, old vintage looking button. You can tell the style's old. And I just glued this doily on. I was just playing at first, but then I liked it. So let's go around and ink. The ink is about the color of the doily, okay? So it's a little bit darker. I want it to pop a little bit more. But I wanted these to be simple. I don't want it to be like major drawn out decorating. Just use stuff that you have around you. Don't go out and buy stuff unless you absolutely don't have anything blue. I've got to buy the yellow and the orange spray, so it's not exactly the spray you'd want to buy, but that's how it is. So we're gonna put the hole through here. The string through here, and pop that up on the top. Now, if you want to decorate them a little bit more than I am, you can do that. I'm doing simple on the tags because I want the tags to slip down in the places that they need to slip. Okay, so let's flip this over. Let's glue this on the back. There we go. All right, so we're covering up the one on the back, and then we'll, if I were having trouble covering the gold, I would put another one on there. But I think that's good. Simple, right? It's not going to take us forever to make the tags because we only have 4. That's all I ended up putting on here was 4, or fixing 4. I sprayed 4. Do I need to say 4 again? 4, 4, 4. Okay, so you're going to put our little protector on the back of the hole. And that way it's drying. Now, we used a doily on one. We used a scrap of paper on the other. And we used some lace, which I wouldn't mind using lace again. But how about this time we use some of the fabric on this card. Doing that back side first. Do the front side. This is something that I wouldn't pre-ink for. I do try to save time on my videos. I get things cut out and I pre-ink things and all of that. So, okay, so I have this other little piece of lace and I have this piece of fabric. Now, this is not completely square, so I'm going to straighten it up a little bit. It won't be completely square when I do it either, but it'll be better. Okay, so I'm thinking we can lay it on here like this. Maybe off to one side. I'm going to see if this is long enough. No, it's not. Maybe we'll shorten the fabric so we can use this little piece of lace. I got to straighten up the lace. This is just some I had extra. I'm going to try to make it as long as this piece of lace is. So, let's lay it out to the side like this. And this is how we'll try to lay it down. And then I will cut off this bottom end to the best of my ability to get it straight. Now, I'm going to glue the fabric down first. And I'm not getting super picky on how I do that. I'm just kind of, I don't want the middle to not stay flat. So I'm going to do around the edges mostly because we don't want those lifting up. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep from getting it everywhere. So I'm going to kind of put it over to the left, I decided. And kind of straighten it by this side of the tag right here. And then just put your fabric down. Make sure it's flat. It was wrinkled, now it's not. So I'm going to lay this lace out beside, seeing which side's right, on this side, just where it's spaced from here to here, the same as this side, same as the left. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue straight down here. And I am going to put a little bit out on the edges so we can hold the lace down well. Start at the bottom, lining it up. And then still might be a tiny bit short, but that's all right. Okay. Now on this one, we are also going to do a button, and I have chose this button here. It's vintage to go on there. So I don't know which one's my favorite, but I like them all. Okay, so that the tags are all ready to be finished, and that didn't take that long. So now we're going to move on to, we've got a card, and we've got what I was going to do as a booklet to, to journal in. We've got the planner, but we want some journaling paper in here. And we don't want to overstuff the pockets too much. I want them to look good, but I don't want them to look like they've been super covered with everything in the world in them, because that will keep us from being able to, I'm getting some paper here. I thought I had everything out, but I forgot the paper. Now, I'm putting tea stain paper inside this little journal book. I'm just going to use one piece. I think is all it's going to take. Now, we want this, let's see, we want it to fit in here nicely, so I'm going to go down a little bit. I'm going to get my pencil. Put my pencil over here, and then I'm going to go to the next one. We might have to do more than 2. We don't want just 4 pages in here, do we? And they don't have to be perfect pages. So, like, they don't have to be even. And that's the nice thing about doing little mini journals, is that you can do however you want. Okay, so we're going to cut this one down, this line here, so we can kind of keep them straight. And then cut this one here. Now, I'm not really trying to get them perfect. I'm just trying to get two sheets out of 2 big sheets and 2 smaller sheets. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to move that. I think we need to hole punch the corners because the booklet has got hole punched corners. Every time you do one of these pages, you want to use as much imagination as you can. I'm only punching the 2 big sheets that will be on the outside, front and back of the journal. Not the outside of the book, but the outside pages. Now, I've got a little pencil mark right here where I measured. We don't want it to look all... Okay, this one didn't punch right. It's funny how sometimes you can stick it in there and punch it and it'll be all weird. Okay, now, let's get our little book back and we'll see which direction this goes. Because again, this is not going to even require you to measure because, you know, we're going to have... Okay, there's where it goes. It goes this direction. So let's put the other one in here. It might be bigger. It is a little bit. So, which is okay, but let's put it on the back side of the book. Okay, and then we can just kind of balance these out. And right now we're just going to fold them like this, and then when it's all said and done, we can trim any overhang. Okay, so there's that part. We're going to take these two pieces that are left. We're going to put them in the smallest inside the biggest, and then we're going to, that one's a little bit wonky, so let's trim it off. Plus, I don't like the edge on that paper. Looks kind of bent a little bit. Here's another pencil mark. Okay. Okay, now we got that done. Let's bring it up to the center, and then we'll fold. These are going to be inside the center part of the book. I think I'm going to fold them one at a time so I'm sure they're even. I've got glue sticking off my fingers. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you're trying to work fast. You end up getting glue everywhere. All right. There we go. Now we're just going to put those inside the center. You could alternate them, and who knows, I might do that. But we are going to have to trim around it. Now, let's think about how we want the front of this decorated. I know we have to ink the book, but we don't have to ink the pages. You're welcome. I'm not going to say it needs to be inked inside the book because I don't usually ink them. But I thought on the outside we could do maybe a mat, a little matted area, and then we could do a like a title, like maybe this is going to be called notes or journal or one of those things. And let's see, I know I have some paper over here I want to grab. We haven't used much of this dark paper right here, and so I want to use this on the front. And I think what we'll do is we'll use this as a to mark with, this little tag. This is how I like to make it so simple that we don't have to do, we're just going to make it that wide, and then we're going to find our little mark and do it this wide. Then we don't have to put it on the trimmer every time. But we haven't used this color except for the band on the first page under the lace. So I thought it'd be nice to bring some darker. There we go. So I am going to ink this just a tiny bit, just so it's cohesive. Okay, there we have that. Now, let's see what this is going to look like. We may not like it. Now, it is going to be a different color. I think having it on here and then doing a square, not of this, but of something white. Let's do, I know we've got some white on here. Let's do some of this lighter paper right here. It's still got bleed through, but it still will work. And we're just going to make it the center of the, just try to cut it straight, run some ink around it. Must be getting low on ink. It's not popping out there as bright, but that's all right. All right, so let's glue this one onto this one first, and then we'll put it onto the book. Now, the book pages I will stitch on after the video, but this portion we can glue on. Okay. All right. Now we're going to glue the main tag down, or the tab, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Yeah, this is the side I wanted to do as the front. I kind of like that we did our own cover. This has a lighter marble effect, and I like that. That makes it different. And I think we'll just do the journal with a pen, because I want to stick with blue rather than putting a something black on there. I hope it will write with the wet glue underneath. We'll see. So we're just going to write the word notes, and I'm just going to do it really messy. Doesn't have to be super neat. I mean, if it looks like it's too many lines, just kind of fill it in. I don't want the lines on this middle part of the word. I'm putting them really close together. I'm not giving it a lot of thought. I don't know if you can tell. I'm just kind of, I want it to look just very simple. And I want them to look wonky. So that wasn't difficult to do. There you go. Now, I didn't put notes, I just put note. So, I didn't allow for the S, but that's okay. We don't have to have an S on there. Okay, so we will stitch this, and I'll trim this ugly paper sticking out. And when we do the flip through of all the pages at the end, you'll get to see how everything turned out. That's going to be simple to do. All right, now let me lay this to the side and see how much time we have. That was another thing that the person that commented didn't like, that I would check the camera to see how much time we had, or to see if I was in alignment. So, sorry. Sorry. Okay, now I have a couple things. I'm not going to use them all, but I have some things we did in the collage that time that they have a little bit of silver, but it's pretty much decorated blue. So I think I'm going to hang on to the envelope, because we're making an envelope at some point. But then I don't know if I like the pocket, because, you know, it's not like we have anything hard to glue it on. So we can't do the pocket. I'll hang on to the blue in case we need it. Okay, so that's just a maybe. Now, on here, I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on this glassine bag. And let me get some more on my brush. It doesn't really want to come off of there. Now you can see it. I'm not trying to be super heavy with this, but I am going to do this like a little envelope. I know you've seen us do this before. I've done it like in some of my design team stuff, where maybe you just want to put everything together and have little things to do. I'm going to open this up. There we go. Good grief. Have you ever done that? Just tap the top of your lid on your ink thinking you were going after ink? I love the glassine bags. They're, you know, you want whatever you put on the inside of them to look somewhat decent. So I'm trying to decide, do we want to use it as a pocket? No, I don't think I want to use it as a, I'm thinking about doing that, but I don't think so. So we also have out here, I have several different blue things. But, you know, I'm trying to decide if I want to decorate it or if I want to make it like a pocket. I kind of like that we could just slip the pocket in, I mean the bag in, we could fill it full of goodies or fill it full of a journal card. I also like this little bird feeder, but this little fairy's cute too, isn't she? I just grabbed a bunch of cards that were the right colors. Oh, but look at the butterflies. The only problem with the butterflies is they have blue on them. But, I mean yellow on them. But I like them. So maybe we'll go with something very simple like the butterflies. Now, I like to kind of make everything a little odd looking. So we're going to glue this on. We're going to go for it. You could make like the thing I made, that Lauren Presley made from the journal I purchased. She made one of those little tag holders, which was cute because then you can get a lot of journaling in. Or you can do, you can just add some journaling paper inside of the bag. But I thought we would do up, since we're doing butterflies, maybe we can do up some butterflies and maybe some hearts and put into the bag. And we're going to have to, I like it like that. What do you think? We're going for it. We're going for it. This is just an old journaling Project Life card. And I just dug in everything. And that did take some time to do that. But it was fun seeing, you know, it helps you when you dig through your stash. It helps you to know where you put things that maybe you've looked for or forgot about. So, let me see if that's high enough. Yeah, I'm going to move it over just a little bit. And when I do, you're going to get glue. But I am going to wipe it off. I'll go back and get it as soon as we get off camera. I think this one will be fine. Now we're going to add this. I've already inked it. I'm not loading it super heavy. I'm just trying to get the edges mostly. Okay, because right after this, we're going to do some items to put in the bag. That's, Fabri-Tac likes to string like a spider, make a spider web out of its glue. I saw some come down on the front. For sure don't want that to dry on there. We've got some right here on this Project Life card. When you say you're not putting very much on there and it still leaks out, it's not cool. Hope you guys are having a good day. I spoke with my daughter last night, and Charlie got a little cold. But she's also thinking about putting him in private school. She can't decide yet, but she wants him to get that little bit of extra attention because, you know, he's already so far behind from being in the hospital all those you know, didn't get to go to school for until last year, and then it was just pre-K. He's in kindergarten this year. But there's things that my daughter feels like he should be able to do that he hasn't been taught, or they're not giving him the time to learn it. He's super smart. He doesn't need any extra time. He just needs guidance, you know. And he's just a little short britches. Okay. All right, guys, I'll get the rest of this glue I just don't like it when it's dirty brown on here. I'll get the rest of that when we get off camera. So now what we're going to do is I'm just getting this one part. You know how I am. I can't stand it. Sorry for those that don't like me getting the glue off. Now I'm paranoid, you know. Everything's going to be like... All right, so there we have this, and I want to fill the bag with goodies for whoever ends up with it. Now we're probably going to make more things, but I'm not going to do a third video for that. But it will just be, you know, simple little things that'll give you something to look forward to. Now, I hole punched. I sat down one day and I did a bunch of hole punching, and I'm going to get a piece of this paper to put the hole punching on. And I did hearts, and I punched out. I'm going to use the smaller ones. I'm not going to use any of these giant. Well, we might do one big one. Some of these I recognize as some that I have cut out, some that I have punched out. So I think I have a variety going on here. I think this was before I ever got a punch or die cuts or whatever. Okay, those are all big. We don't want those. So let's just do 4 for now of those, and then let's do some hearts. Some of them are music, and some of them are hearts. Let's get some hearts out. We're going to have different shaped hearts. Let's see. I don't really want anything on the back. This one has something on the back. I like these small ones the best, but I'm going to throw in one bigger one. I just feel like, you know, let's do that one. That gives us 4 of each. Now, I have all sizes in there, but we're going to go with the small ones. So I'm just going to lay them out. I'm going to shake up my bottle of glue. If you wanted to, you could also brush some gesso on here a little bit in some places. And then, which is what I brought the extra brush for. So let's just do it. It's right here. What will it hurt, right? Okay, we're just going to do a little bit. We're not going to go crazy with the gesso. But gesso can act like an acrylic paint, just for those that don't know that. Or it can act like a primer. I'm going to dry this brush off so it's not so wet. So let's do a little bit of gesso on here. Make sure you guys are in camera. I'm not looking, I'm just moving. Getting it on there. Get my brush all wet. I've just been kind of using old brushes. Okay, now let's start with this big heart. Now, I don't like all that darkness. So what we'll do is we'll just lighten it down with some gesso. Kind of like you would do, and I really should have used a dry brush. I'm just telling you. I'm just kind of squiggling it on there. I'm not like making it perfect. I want some of the, oh, looks like we got more than we, oh, well that's good. Whoever gets this will get extra butterflies. yeah, it just kind of mutes it a little bit. Now this blue I'm going to use is pretty dark, and the nice thing too is it will mute it, but it also will help you to kind of put a layer on. And I'm going to run the heat gun over it real fast, and we can go from there. Okay, now let me put this lid back on so it doesn't dry out. You want to keep your lids on well, and if you put parchment or wax paper under your lids, you don't have to worry about it sticking as much. So that, you know, that would be good. So my husband got me some, I haven't tried it yet, professional nail remover, 100% pure acetone, to put in the glue when it gets all thick and clumpy. Okay, this will be loud for a minute, but it won't take very long. Also, gesso will give you a little bit of texture on your images, and I'll hold one up and show you what I mean as soon as they're dry. Of course, you also, if you do little images like this, you get to chase them. The reason we're drying it is because we don't want the paint to change colors. See, that was pretty simple. Now, it's not completely dry, but it's close enough. And so we are going to get our brush. Everything's fallen over. Lovely. Now we've kind of got some butterflies that are kind of flying. I know we had more hearts. Oh, here it is. It's hiding over under my scissors. Have everything turned over the right direction. Now there is going to be no rhyme or reason to this paint. Now I got this. This is a Shimmers paint. I'm trying to see the color. It's a self-priming acrylic paint too with a matte finish. Blue My Top is the name of it. They have really cute, I don't know if you've ever been over to Shimmers site, but they have really cute names on everything. Okay, so we're just going to work right out of the lid, okay? This is my lazy painting. And I haven't used this paint, so I don't know how it's going to, and I'm just kind of scribbling it. I don't want it to have a design or anything. I just kind of want it to be, I mean, you could do, if you wanted a design on yours, you could do that. You know, to each their own. Okay, then we're going to go here and do some blue hearts. Even though Valentine should be red, but this is not a Valentine project. Those are long overdue. Did those and got those done. Kind of how Gail feels about our circus videos, I was feeling about the Valentine. You know, I feel like sometimes if you get into a project that's so long, people will get bored. And evidently some people get bored with an hour video, but yeah, I just kind of try to do, I'll do some of this off the paint, off the butterfly or the heart or whatever. I thought these would be cute in our little bag, just like a little embellishment that they could do in their books if they want to. It's like giving out a freebie. I want to get some freebies made up to send out with my books. I haven't had a chance, but I thought different shapes would be a fun one. And see, we're almost done right now. It took us like 10 minutes, if that much. And I think the gesso helps the way it looks. What do you think? You can let me know. mind someone giving me direction, but I want you to not be rude when you do it. It hurts my feelings. And I work really hard on my videos, and you know, I haven't been doing it that long, and I feel like for no longer than I've been doing it, I've been doing okay. And I just, it's hurtful when somebody says something so ugly to you. So now I have paint all over me. I know we're getting down to the end here, but I also thought we could, if we had done this where there wasn't any, you know, completely away from the edges, we could have doodled on it, but we're not. We're just going to do it like this. These are going to go, where'd my bag go? Where did my bag, oh, there it is. These are going to go in my butterfly bag. Now, and then they're going to be put in a pocket, and yeah, that'll be fun, I think. I like getting stuff like that. So I'm going to set this aside, check our time, and if we have enough time, we'll do one more thing. Oh no, we're already over an hour, and I don't want to upset anybody, so we're going to stick to an hour. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed doing, let me grab the page. There it is. Hope you enjoyed doing our page for the rainbow book. And this is blue. Our next page will be pink, and it's going to be after I complete the bunny book. I'm going to do 3 Easter books. I think I've told you 2 bunnies and 1 yellow duck. And none of them are the Easter story. That way they can be used anytime, but they do give you the feeling of Easter when you see a bunny or a chick. And I am going to put some Easter embellishments in them. And so the covers are beautiful on them, and I think they'll just be fun and different to do. Okay, so we've completed page 1. I'm just going to throw a couple things in here. Now, again, these may not be in this place when it's all said and done, but you never know where they might end up. Let's put this tag over on this side in one of these. The button hasn't been sewn on yet. Let's put this little book over here. Okay, and I'm going to do an envelope or a bingo card. I think I might do the bingo card because it looks like so much fun. And then any of these little tags that we had left over will just kind of fill in different areas, which I think will be fun. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope, look how fun that looks with all the blue. I will, let me put this one in here too. How's that? We'll just kind of put it at a tilt. This will be a fun book when it's all done. And so I hope you look forward to it as much as I do. You don't want to overstuff it because then it will be gigantic. Which we'll know at that time how big to make the book. So, you know, it'll probably end up being a wide signature. So, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. And if you enjoyed it, I really want you to give me a thumbs up. And let YouTube know what's going on. And I appreciate you all. See you next time.